With lockdowns, offices closed and the revolution of online work from home, many might have assumed that our capital city CBDs are among the biggest victims of the pandemic. But look, there's a glimmer of hope. Today, the Property Council reports demand for office space lifting in every Australian capital CBD, defying predictions of collapse. I caught up with Chief Executive Ken Morrison a little earlier.
It's a very striking point, isn't it, Ross? And, here we are 2 years into the pandemic. Businesses have now had to factor in what are they doing with their office space needs, as we roll through the pandemic. What does flexibility mean for their businesses? And what we can see is over the last 6 months, businesses across the country have decided that working in a CBD office is integral to their business. And in fact, we've seen an increase in demand for office space over the last 6 months. So I think the jury is in. CBDs and office working is not dead, far from it. Of course, we are seeing a lot of changes. We're also having this conversation when there's a lot of empty CBD offices because of work from home requirements. So, there is more change to roll out, but for everybody who cares about our CBDs, this is good news because it means the economics underpinning our CBDs are actually very strong.
It's almost counterintuitive because the cities still seem fairly empty, and certainly, if you go to cafes and restaurants and others who say that they're not getting the foot traffic they were previously. So, it seems as though maybe, as I say, while a lot of people are still working from home, that the companies are paying for the office space. That's what I'm sort of a bit confused about with this equation.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. We've got companies who have their people working from home because that's what governments have asked them to do. But when the businesses say what is important for our business, not just in the next month or the next 2 months, but over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, they've said that, having their teams together, collaborating, integrating, innovating, that is integral to their business. Now, the way that work occurs within an office will absolutely change. And, we don't know what the pandemic will bring in the future. So it's possible that we have these sort of requirements to work from home into the future. But, what this shows is that businesses believe in the concept of working in an office, and they believe in the benefits of being in a CBD. So I think, if you're one of those retailers, one of those cafe owners that you're talking about, Ross, then the good news from this data, and for anybody who cares about CBDs, is that businesses aren't walking away from CBDs. In fact, demand for office space is increasing, and that means we will get back to vibrant CBDs, and that hopefully won't be too long away.
Okay, do you get the sense also that there are many CBD buildings right around this country that need to be refurbished, updated, if you like, to modern work practices? I mean, given the fact that flexible hours and therefore, being able to hot desk more often than in the past, that the old traditional box-style office will need to change into the future, and even owners are going to have to really think about the investments that they've got.
That change is huge, and tenants are thinking about that because what they're thinking about, what they've said is an office is really important for the talent that we want to attract to make their business successful. But that talent wants different things in an office. Now they want more wellness services, they want more space, they want attractive, vibrant place that means they want to be in the office. Yes, more of those people will also probably spend some of their time from home, so they need to have those facilities to have mixed mode meetings and do that successfully. So there is a rethink going on about what does the office fit out look like, which can make a business successful as we move back to the new normal. It's also true that we're seeing in the marketplace this really actually quite strong demand for higher quality office space that does provide all those services, whereas some of the lower quality, quite often older stock, that is less attractive in the marketplace at the moment. So, of course, what you'll see over time is some of those older buildings being reconverted newer offices or perhaps into apartments or hotels.
I was going to say even apartments, because inner city living is clearly, with prices of houses and apartments rising so rapidly, that's going to be a part of the mix, and maybe even that's a part of the work-life balance into the future as well.
That's right, and you know that equation between living in the suburbs and buying an apartment in the city or near the city, you know, because we've had that really strong house price inflation, that value equation is looking pretty good. And now that, you know, we have these amazingly high vaccination rates in Australia and people are feeling more confident about, you know, what living with COVID means for them, you know, reminding them of all the amazing benefits for people of living in an inner city environment means that is actually starting to swing back. So, you know, I think there's hope there as well that apartment focus will be much stronger. And of course, if we can get our international students back, if we get our overseas arrivals back, then that will be a natural spur for those markets as well.
Yeah, Ken Morrison, Chief Executive of the Property Council. Good to chat to you on the program today.
Good to speak to you, Ross.